series, we are going to talk about the fear of English communication, which you face while speaking in the corporate setup, in your professional life. Imagine you are in a meeting or on a call and you suddenly take a pause thinking, am I saying this word correct? The fear of pronouncing words wrong can be so overwhelming that it stops you from speaking altogether. So, today we are going to tackle the fear, the most common fear which holds many of us back when we are speaking in English. We are going to talk about the fear of miscommunication. Sorry, we are going to talk about the fear of mispronouncing the words. Before we even begin, I want you to understand mispronunciation isn't a failure. It's a step towards learning. And today I'm going to share three practical strategies to overcome this fear, build confidence, and speak boldly even when you are unsure of a word. Before we begin with the strategies, let's understand why we mispronounce words. So we need to understand reason number one. Reason number one is new vocabulary. English language has a huge range of words with tricky spellings and sounds. For example, the word kernel. The spelling is Colonel, but it is pronounced as Kernel. The spelling doesn't at all match the way it is pronounced. It's confusing, even for the advanced learners. Words like Q, spelled as Queue, pronounced as Kyoo, or the word chaos. It's spelled as Chaos and pronounced as Kayooss, chaos. Now, these kind of words have unexpected pronunciation that might trip people up when they encounter them. Why does this happen at all? English has many loan words and it has inconsistent spelling rules, which makes predicting the pronunciation tricky. The next is influence of native language. Our mother tongue often shapes how we pronounce certain words. For example, a Spanish speaker might struggle with the word sheet versus seat because SH sound doesn't exist in Spanish. When learning a new language, we unconsciously use the pronunciation patterns of our mother tongue. And this influence is known as MTI, mother tongue influence, or it is also called as language transfer. The other reason is fear of mistakes. Now, this is one major reason because the more nervous we are, more likely we are to stumble. For example, in a meeting, someone might hesitate while saying entrepreneur and mispronounce it as entrepreneur due to nervousness. During a presentation, the anxiety might cause a speaker to stumble over the word statistics, turning it into statistics. It's quite common. Anxiety, it deviates our focus. And along with our focus, it also disrupts our fluency. When we are nervous, we start doubting ourselves, increasing the likelihood of mispronunciation. So mispronunciation is very normal. It's a normal part of learning and communicating in English. By identifying the cause, whether it's a tricky word, it's native language influence, or we are just nervous, we can work on overcoming these challenges with target practice and the confidence building strategies, which I'm going to share with you in a while. But there is something which I want you to realize before we move forward, that even the native speakers mispronounce words. English or any other language per se isn't about perfection. It's about being understood, because communication is about being understood. And with practice, you'll turn all those tricky words into your strengths. So let's understand how we can reframe mispronunciation. Mispronunciation is often seen as a flaw or something to be embarrassed about. But it's time to change that perspective, change that opinion mindset. So here's how we can reframe the way we think about it. The first thing is, it's not embarrassing, it's human. Mispronunciation doesn't mean you lack intelligence or skills. It simply reflects the process of learning. The real world people, like the people who are very good at communication as well as English, even the highly educated people like Shashi Tharoor or the non-native speakers like Arnold Schwarzenegger, they have words they mispronounce. Yet their communication skills and impact remains undeniable. Think of it as a universal experience. Everyone, including the native speakers, struggle with certain words. For example, Americans often mispronounce French words like croissant. They might say croissant instead of poisson, while Britishers might stumble over the words like aluminium. So instead of feeling embarrassed, remind yourself that mispronunciation is just a natural part of communicating across languages. The second thing which you need to understand is that it's not a stopping point, it's a learning moment. Every time you mispronounce a word, you are presented with an opportunity to grow and improve. It's a step forward in your journey to mastery. Think about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the Missile Man of India, the former president. He once mispronounced a technical term during a presentation. Instead of feeling ashamed, he thanked the audience for correcting him and noted that it helped him improve. His humility and willingness to learn earned even greater respect. When you mispronounce a word, just note it down and then check for its correct pronunciation in tools like dictionaries or apps and practice it. And I promise the next time you're not going to mispronounce that word. See, each mistake is a part of the learning curve, not the end of the road. Every correction takes you closer to your goal, that is fluency. The third thing which you need to understand is progress over perfection. Mispronunciation highlights that you are trying. You are trying communicating in a second or a third language, which is already an accomplishment, an achievement. Think of mispronunciation like missing a step while climbing stairs. It doesn't stop you from reaching your goal, the top. It's just a part of the climb. So focus on your progress and the effort you're putting, not the small stumbles along the way. Mispronunciation is not a failure. It's a proof that you are learning, evolving, and stepping out of your comfort zone. Treat it as a bridge to improvement, not as a barrier to success. Let it fuel your growth and remind you how far you have come. So take a moment to think. If a non-native speaker said a word in your language, suppose a Britisher said a word in your language, maybe Hindi. For example, Hindi is my native language. Would I judge him? Probably not. Maybe I would likely appreciate their effort and I would say, wow, at least you're trying. So the same goes for English. Most people value your attempt to communicate more than your perfect pronunciation. So let's quickly talk about the 3 strategies to overcome the fear of mispronunciation. Strategy number 1. Master Commonly mispronounced words. Start by identifying the words you struggle with. For example, comfortable, entrepreneur, or specific. I suggest you use free online tools like Google or YouTube to hear the correct pronunciation and repeat the word out loud 10 to 15 times until your ears get habitual of that sound and you start feeling natural. And when you speak that word, it's subconsciously the correct pronunciation comes out of your mouth. For example, the word comfortable is often pronounced by many of the English speakers as comfortable, but it's actually comfortable. Try saying it now. It's simpler than you think. Comfortable. Comfortable. Strategy number 2. Use the slow and clear method. When you are unsure of a word, just slow down and enunciate each syllable clearly. For example, instead of rushing through entrepreneur and getting it wrong, break it down. Entrepreneur. 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 Speaking slowly gives you time to adjust your tongue, your muscles, and ensures your audience understands you, even if you're not perfect. Strategy number 3. Ask for feedback. Don't be afraid to ask a trusted colleague or a friend if your pronunciation is correct or not. For example, after a meeting, you could simply go and say, "Hey, I'm not sure I pronounced that word correctly. Can you help me?" Most of the people will be more than happy to guide you, and you'll remember the word better the next time. How should we practice on daily basis? So let me share a simple daily exercise to build confidence when it comes to pronunciation. So step number 1 is pick 3 challenging words and practice saying them out loud. Step number 2, use each word in a sentence. Write down an individual sentence for each word. And step number 3, record yourself speaking and listen back to identify the areas of improvement. These 3 steps, when practiced consistently, are going to rewire your brain and make correct pronunciation feel absolutely effortless and subconscious. So I hope you're going to practice these 3 steps. Moving on to the next part, which is handling mispronunciation gracefully. So how can I handle, what should I do if I mispronounce the C? You need to understand that there will be moments when you're going to mispronounce a word even after practice. And here are 3 tricks how you can handle it like a pro. So trick number 1 is acknowledge and move on. You can simply say, "Sorry, I meant to say," and use the correct pronounced word. And then continue. Trick number 2 is stay confident. Mispronouncing a word doesn't define your intelligence or professionalism. Come on. Confidence is what people remember. And trick number 3 is just laugh it off. If the situation allows, a light-hearted comment like, "That word always tricks me." It can ease the tension and show humility. In professional environments, your value isn't in saying every word perfectly. It's in your ideas, your clarity, and your confidence. For example, one of my clients, Priya Shinde, a banker from Pune, she avoided using certain words in meetings because she was scared of saying them wrong. After practicing the strategies which I shared with her, which I just shared with you, she found the courage to speak up more, even when she wasn't 100% sure. And guess what? Her colleagues didn't even notice the small mistakes. They just noticed her contributions. The same will happen with you. Mispronunciation is not a reflection of your abilities. It's a sign that you are learning and growing. So let's just flip the script. Instead of fearing those tricky words, just embrace them as opportunities. Opportunities to practice, learn, and remember. Your confidence speaks louder than any mistake. Now go out there, just speak boldly and show the world what you are capable of, because you are the best and your voice matters. So learn subconsciously, speak fearlessly, overcome the fear of mispronunciation. I hope this video helped you, and I hope you are going to practice and you're going to fight the fear of mispronunciation using the practical strategies which I shared with you. If you have any other fear related to English speaking at workplace, you can share with me in the comments below, and I'll make sure I'll make a video and share some easy, practical, doable strategies which you can use and fight and overcome those fears easily. Share this video with someone whom you think does not speak openly because a lot of mother tongue influence, or because he overthinks that he's going to mispronounce certain words. In this way, you will be able to help someone overcome English trauma, because that way you'll be able to join my mission, because I'm on a mission to help 100,000 people overcome English trauma. So make sure you type in the comment box anything which you feel about this video. If you liked a certain strategy, certain step which you liked, which resonates with you, or there is something which you use to fight that fear of mispronunciation at your workplace, I would be more than happy to discuss that, know about it. So make sure you put that in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Till then, learn subconsciously, speak fearlessly. This is Surabhi Jain saying goodbye.